ham-fisted responses from the platforms, including Twitter, like banning all political ads to kind of make things simpler for them in responding to fraught political times. And additionally, in 2016 especially, Trump generated about $2 billion in free media coverage. And I suspect a lot of that was his ability to set the media agenda every day on Twitter. And of course, his account was eventually suspended after the insurrection at the Capitol. So a big question that's hanging over all of us in political media world is, does Twitter reinstate that account, particularly if he runs for president again? So I would love to hear some more perspective from the other panelists on this, particularly how Twitter makes internal decisions about politics and political accounts, because I think from the outside, a lot of it does look like it has been driven by Jack, or he's been the one publicly taking responsibility for it. So where do you see that going in the future?
Evan, I think I saw you respond to that. Cal, I see you're responding as well. Chime in, please.
Yeah, no, I think that's that's a question I brought up a couple of times this session, because I think that's going to be the big question. What do they do with content and that policy? And in terms of the players that are going to be leading the company, they are different. They're not Jack, right? They will be less passionate about it, probably more rational based on the people that are there. I see, and we may have a surprising and a different perspective on content. And I don't know if they review previous bans, but it may affect future bans and future censorship decisions. But it's a really good question. I think there'll be people who want to come. I see Tarek is down there. He's been using Twitter for so long over the years. I've known him from my Best Buy days way back. So Adam, if you could at least invite him up, I think you got an interesting European perspective. That's a really good point that was just made around what's going to happen with content and censorship and that policy area.
Yep.
I love the idea of a CTO taking over who will clearly have a view on leveraging AI and machine learning for content moderation. And, it's an area that Jack has been very opaque on. I mean, he clearly has a libertarian streak and he wants free speech, but he's gone back and forth on these topics so often it's kind of left us all a bit dizzy. We really need transparency and a documented process and procedures for how to stick to the rules, and that's been lacking because I don't think Jack is really a process person. I don't think that's what excites him, is coming up with process and procedures and streamlining operational things like the political side of things. So I look forward to more of an engineering approach on that.
And
Thanks.
Cal, I love when people introduce new people in the audience to bring on up. And again, if you're in the audience, you have perspectives, news, updates, go ahead, raise your hand. But you introduced Tariq, and so we're going to go to him next. Then we'll go to Remy. You have your hand raised. We will get to you. Thank you for being so patient. Amy, you've been waiting so long, so we'll get to you right after Tariq. Tariq, go right ahead.
Hi, hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Cal. I was just like getting through the news and processing it. And I think what's fascinating with Twitter is, I think as much as we love it or hate it, I mean, it's been a tremendous platform for each of us, And what's clear with this decision, I think the first outcome of this is, like, for Jack, it means no more Senate hearings. I mean, we're in a time now where I mean, literally every company, literally almost every month is now going to be into the scrutiny of, what is social media doing? The politics is getting there. And I think in some ways also a lot of, I wouldn't say that was the main decision for Jeff Bezos, but it's clear that now as well, they're probably going to have someone else doing this job. Regarding Twitter, I don't know if you're familiar with the work. So I've known Jack for quite a while. I was in the early days of Web 2.0 with this company I've built called NetVibes, where it's like a few of us trying to change the way the internet is working. And I think one of the main issue of Twitter is that, if you remember the first years, the first mission was to make sure the product doesn't crash. You had this, constantly issues. It was really hard, and in some ways, it was always a massively complex engineering problem. and therefore we had very slow features. Like everybody would love to be able to search Twitter, because I think Twitter is an incredible, database of information, starting by everything I've done. Like literally every day, each of us like share tweets, and we have no idea how to find them easily and even other topics. And in some ways, I think part of the political issue is that Facebook literally started copying Twitter and figure out how to build a better business model. I think at some point we all went to Facebook because that was where we could follow our friends, and on Twitter because that's where we could follow the public, life and publication of friends and companies. And then suddenly Facebook stole that. And also with the acquisition of Instagram, you probably know that Instagram was going to be, Jack was trying to acquire Instagram. It was a perfect fit. And it would have totally changed the dynamic of the company, being able to post multiple type of content and having an incredible tech team as well at the time. And basically overnight, Zuck understood the threat of pictures and to his business model and snagged the company. And in some ways, Twitter never really recovered because everything they tried to do as product was semi-baked. If you think about it, the true change of over the last 10 years that is useful on a daily basis for us is doubling the size of what you can write on Twitter, like 280 characters. But even the messaging is not properly finished. The integration, they're doing an incredible job. I think Space has something going on, but everything they tried to do in the past was kind of half-baked, removed. They had something similar to stories that just got rid of. And also the idea that Twitter was going to be an API-based system where everyone could build around it and create this massive opportunity, and that was kind of killed. They're trying to restart it, but I think it's unclear. I think Twitter is a very useful product, but it's unclear to me how you can grow beyond just what it is compared to what you see with Google and Facebook, who kind of created an entire tool suite of software and product. That's like out of the blue what I would say. Sorry to talk too much. I don't want to overtake.
Well, thank you, Tariq. Let's give it back to the panel up here. Does someone have